What's up?
Now it's my turn to tell y'all about my big bro Gerod and the podcast crew.
What's up, everybody? Welcome 2026. Wow. There were times when you probably thought you weren't going to make it, but look at God. You were here for another year. Thank you so much for tuning in once again to the Floor Is Yours podcast. I am Gregory McKinney, your life and relationship coach, and I am with my brother from another mother, Mr. Gerod Ware. Say what's up to the people. Flex,
Hey,
the
good evening,
producer.
great people. And hello to you, man. Happy 2026 to you, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This is going to be a great year. We're going to make it a great year.
Oh, yeah, for
Got
sure.
a year. If you're like many people, you probably have some leftover goals, some leftover resolutions that you didn't quite hit. But hey, we are here in the new year, and we're going to talk about exactly how to make this year a priority, how to make this year count. And I think this is a great way to start the year by getting our priorities set. So tonight we're going to be talking about what matters most. We're going to be or merch. What matters most. That's right.
Your artist on roof, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's showing. It's showing. The country
Yeah.
boy in me is coming out. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what matters most and how to set priorities and how to set the targets that we need to be and should be hitting this year so that this year counts. We want to make sure that this year counts. We want to make this year so good that all the years before are jealous, wishing they were 2026. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And so interesting enough about this show is Gerard, I don't know if you listeners know this or not, is also former military. And so being part of the military, he has a lot of great insight on leadership and execution. And so today he just kind of hit me to some information about one of the one of the standards or protocols in the military. And I thought it was just really, really good. He brought it to my attention and we said, we got to talk about this. So Gerard, as we dive into what matters most tonight and prioritizations, tell us a little bit about that example that you shared about the military.
Yeah. So in all the branches of service, we go to the range, to fire our weapons. And part of that, when we're qualifying, there are targets at different distances, if you will. The 50 meters, there's another one at 150 meters, 200, 250, and all the way to 300 meters. Well, the idea is the one that's at 50 meters, it pops up and it's only up for a few seconds. But if you think about it, 50 meters is closest to you. So when you think about if that target is an enemy, which one of those targets can get to you the quickest? The one at 50 meters or the one at 300 meters? Obviously, it's the 50 meters, right? So it's just understanding, like, when we're looking at our challenges, our concerns, like, what's your 50-meter target? What's most urgent to you, and understanding what that is. Now, with that being said, Gregory, we don't overlook or disregard the other targets. Again, the word is prioritized. So we're understanding that they all need to be addressed. They all need some attention, but we're looking at what is our 50-meter target, the one that's most urgent, whether it's people, whether it's our health, whether it's our finances, whether it's our family and friends, identifying those 50-meter targets so that we can address them is most urgent. And one of the things, real quick before I hand it back to you, I hear some couples talk about this a lot when they say, that particularly a woman to say that she's supposed to be first now that she's in a relationship, now that she's married. And often that gives the idea that the woman and nobody else outside of that, right? But that's not necessarily the case. When you look at it in the sense of prioritizing, you don't stop being a son. You don't stop being a father to your children. You don't stop being a sibling, to your brothers and sisters. You don't stop being a co-worker and a community member. Now you prioritize those things. So it's not like, you get married and it's only her. So that's what we want to talk about. What's your 50-meter target? And then how do you address those things and still make sure you engage those other targets as well? Hope that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. I think what it shows us is that there is a hierarchy or a pecking order to what we should be giving our attention to. And so we have to evaluate what needs our attention the most as we start this new year. And I like what you said, because we don't ignore the long range goals. Everybody should have a destination. You should be getting somewhere, but before you get there, you're gonna have to take the steps to get there. So, what is your first step, right? What matters most right here, right now? And you gave some great examples about your family, your health, your finances. All those things are urgent things. And so, what we want to challenge the audience tonight is to ask themselves, what matters most now? What's the thing that matters most now? And a couple of ways you can do that. You got to ask yourself, what targets have you been avoiding? And if we're honest with ourselves, we all have been avoiding something. Because if you just look around your house. Have you been cleaning? Have you been eating right? Have you been exercising? What are those things that matters most, and what are those things that you've been avoiding? Because if you face those things now, what they're going to relieve the most stress for you.
Yeah. And
You
and,
know.
and just to add in there too, those things. Sometimes those things are in our blind spots. You know, the analogy when I'm driving in the vehicle and you get ready to switch lanes, you know that thing and the part of the mirror where you can't see to
Hmm.
your left because of the blind spot. It may be something in your blind spot. So in those instances, I think it's incumbent on us to have trusted people around us that can tell us, like, hey, you're overlooking this little minor detail right there that's costing you. So even when you're determining what you need to place your priority on uh, or focus on, something could be potentially in your blind spot.
But nobody likes to hear that, though.
Now,
Nobody likes to hear you're slipping, or you're fumbling the bag over here. You're not living up to your potential here. And so, if we're going to prioritize this year and first figure out what is our 50-yard target goal, or 50 feet target goal, we have to ask ourselves, what's making us uncomfortable? What's making us uncomfortable? What's that thing that you are constantly avoiding, that you don't want to deal with? What's the thing that keeps sweeping under the rug? And so, if we're going to make it count, we got to face the hard. And I like what you said. You got to have people around you, but then you got to be humble enough to hear people when they're talking to you.
yeah,
Because a lot of times you have people around you and saying, "Hey, I don't like what you're doing here, but you could be doing better," and we turn up our nose at them because they just hating on us.
yeah.
They don't want to see us. They don't want to see us win. They don't want to see us happy. They're trying to steal our joy, or
That's a good point, man. And you know,
break our behind.
a lot of it could be because this world, man, we're such a critical society now. It's almost like people wake up looking like, what can I critique about somebody, right? And if you got those people around you, sometimes hearing the right critique from someone that genuinely cares for you, like you cannot be ready to receive it because it all sounds like noise, right? And so that's
Right.
the other thing, you know, we talked about inventory in our life, the people that surround us, and I think you also, and correct me if you don't agree with this, I think we got to give those type of people that permission. Set that expectation from those people that you trust the most. Like, hey, Gregory, man, if you see me not doing right, man, pull my coattail. Let me know.
Hmm.
Right. And because when you make yourself overly concerned with too many people, I think it makes you subject to too many different opinions. And that can be
Yeah.
counterproductive.
Yeah. 100%. And that group should be small, right? And
Yeah.
that group should be people that, over an extended period of time, have shown themselves to be people of integrity. Not perfect people, but just people of integrity. That, hey, once you present an issue, they'll deal with it. They'll say, "Look, I'm sorry. This is what I can do. This is how I can handle it. How can I make it better?" Somebody that doesn't run. But everybody needs someone that can pull their coattails. So I have three people in my life right now that literally, with no exaggeration, if they said, "Gregory, shut up and listen," I'm gonna shut up and listen.
The raw and the real.
Right. Because I know that these three people, if it has to get to that point, then there's something serious. And I know they're only doing that because they love me. If they have to go, "Yo, G, sit down, shut up, because you fumbling," I need to listen.
Yeah.
And everybody needs that. But I think we get so self-centered that we don't want to listen to what other people say. And if we're going to succeed this year, you can't win alone. Nobody has ever won alone. You have to have a team around you. Now, people come in different seasons. Maybe someone there help you get started. Maybe someone's there for the middle. Maybe someone's helping you cross the finish line. Very, 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 very rarely do you have someone that's from the start to the finish.
Yeah,
Those people
that's
are
good.
rare,
That's good. And just
right?
a real quick shout out to our people that's out there and watching us. We got some of my faithfuls on here. We got Miss Dorkeisa. Happy New Year to you. Appreciate you tuning in. And my brother from another mother, I call him Triple Triple OG Ron. He's watching to us on YouTube. So appreciate everybody that's tuning in. And you know the name of the game. If you got a comment, question, input, put it in the comments. We're gonna make sure we get to them. So just wanted to make sure that we shout out our followers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely, we can do it without a pause. I love the comments. That's my favorite part of the show, actually. This is also the real here. You don't have too many problems. You just don't know what comes first. And I think a lot of people use the excuse, oh, I got these kids, I got to go to work, I got to do the laundry, I got to do. You always have all these excuses, but you don't have any action. The truth is, you don't have that many problems. You just don't know what comes first. Just find that one thing. If it's getting your credit up, just focus on your credit for the first 6 weeks of a year. Let everything else go by the wayside if you have to. Forget the laundry, forget the dishes for 6 weeks, and get you a plan in order to fix your credit. If it's your weight, take the first 6 weeks and just get you a plan in order. You don't have that many problems. You just haven't identified what needs to come first and haven't taken the time to develop a system.
That's good.
Because you can't do it all at one time, right? Now, in the course of a year, yes, you can lose 20 pounds. Yes, you can repair your credit. Yes, you can write a book or whatever it may be. But you have to have some dedicated time to these specific goals. And so for each goal that you have, set aside 6 weeks and say, you know what? I want to do 10 things this year. I want to do 10 great things this year. But give each of those 10 things 6 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. Just say, hey, here's my dedicated time. There's 12 months in a year. Give each of those goals at least 1 month. Give yourself 12 goals. Give each of those goals 1 month. And you can have a system in place that you can almost go on autopilot. This is what I need to do. This is the day I do it. This is the time I do it.
That's good. And I like that. I like that. And you know, the old saying is that we can walk and chew bubble gum, but I think you got to be conscious of what it is you're trying to accomplish. And if it's something that needs your total attention, you're not going to give it the service that it deserves or the attention that it deserves if you're distracted and putting attention in other areas, even if those areas need to be addressed, right? So you got to allot proper time. So you know that prioritizing thing again, I think is most important. So I know you got some tips on how to prioritize. I didn't talk to you before this, but I hope I ain't put you on the spot. But I know you usually come with some good. So
I do. I'm gonna save them to last though. I'm gonna save them to last. Cool. Yeah. I wanted to talk about how sometimes we get so destination distracted also. So if your goal for this year is to lose 50 pounds, what happens is you make the 50 pounds the goal instead of the process the goal. If you're going to accomplish anything, you have to fall in love with the process. Because here's the truth, is that God does care about your goals, but he cares about you becoming the person that can accomplish the goals more than giving you the goal. Right? So here's the deal. You can get the trophy. It doesn't take anything for God. God has a billion ways to bless you. All you need is one. God is more concerned about your growth than he is your happiness. And so if you tell God, hey, God, I want to write a great novel, he's going to say, great, I'm here for you. I want to support you. But he's not going to write it for you. He's going to say, what I'm going to do is give you opportunities to meet people that have written books. I'm going to make workshops to come in front of you. I'm going to give you opportunities to learn to become the person that can write a book, but I'm not going to write the book for you. It's like that old saying that if you ask God for a table, he doesn't give you a table. He gives you a tree.
Yeah.
Because God does, right? If you ask God for a cake, he doesn't give you a cake. He gives you flour. He gives you eggs. He gives you milk. Because God wants you to become the person that can acquire the goal, that can achieve the goal versus him just giving you the end result. And so a lot of times we get distracted with saying, well, if I had the money or if I had the time. No, you're too goal focused. You're not process focused. The way to make this your account, to find your priorities, is you have to become process focused, not goal focused.
Yeah, I like that. I think an important part of that, as far as understanding, is if I just get to the goal, like just put some money, I get $1 million, but I don't know how to manage it. I don't understand the psychology of money. Well, when I get that, I'm gonna fumble it, right? I'm not gonna do right.
Absolutely.
But if I'm working up and learning money management on the way there, the psychology of money, how not just to make it, but also how to keep it, how to make it grow, You know, sometimes you get people, some of the athletes, right? They get these contracts, first
Right.
contract, they might get these big dollar houses, and it drains them, and they forget, like, hey, I got to maintain and maintenance and upkeep this house right here. So I think in the process, you learn about all that stuff right there. So it's important not just to look at the goal or be goal oriented, as you said, but also be process oriented as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And busyness doesn't equal progress. A lot of
Break
people are
that
like,
down.
well, you know, a lot of people say, well, hey, I'm working on this goal, but I got to go watch this seminar, you know, or I got to take this class, or you know, I'm running over here to have this meeting with these people. You're just busy, but you're not making progress. You're just talking a lot of talk. You're doing a lot of movement, but you're not going anywhere. You know, it's like being in a rocking chair. You're doing a lot of movement, but you're not moving. And busyness doesn't equal progress. What we're looking is progress, even if it's just 1 inch for 1 inch forward. Take that 1 inch. Don't just talk about it. Be about it.
I got
Take
you.
that action.
That's
Yeah.
good. Cool.
Avoidance also, another pitfall people have is avoidance often is disguised as ambition. And so they would say, you know, you hear people say, if I had the opportunity like Gerard had the opportunity, man, I would be something big. I would be something major. So, you know, but I gotta, I'm right here doing my own thing. No, you're just avoiding the hard work that Gerard put into accomplish whatever he wanted to accomplish, you know. And so avoidance sometimes is disguised as ambition. What people say, if I had it easier, if I was like you, if I was like you, big money, I would do it. No, you just avoiding it. You just don't want to do the work.
That's good.
Avoidance is disguised as ambition.
That's dope. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you were in the army, you get did you have to go through that drill a lot with the distance of the targets?
Oh
Did you
yeah.
ever have to do? Yeah.
Yeah, I like to use the word drill because they hammered it in on us. You know, it's so much to qualifying with your weapon, right? You
Right.
know, when you're talking about the big hoop and holler, like the more glamorous things. For me, when I was sitting in that foxhole shooting down range, if I can hit that 300-meter target, I can go back and boast to everybody like, yeah, man, I hit the 300-meter. But
Yeah.
we can't overlook that 50 meters. So they're teaching you the process, like not just telling you what to do, but they're explaining it to you and breaking it down. Like, hey, you do have to hit that 300-meter target, but there's a process. And not only is there a process, I'm going to teach you. So I think we got to be able and willing to sit at the feet of other people. Some people that have already paved the way, that have done it, that know a little bit more. I know it in these days, Gregory, it's easy for everybody to just jump on and create a fancy title on a page and, you know, go viral and bring followers and read a few books and you sound like you know what you're talking about. But, you know, you and I grew up in that era, and my audience, I'm sure y'all familiar with this. We grew up in an era where you had to learn and prove yourself worthy of speaking to others, teaching others before you just got up there. Now these days, anybody can do it, you know, with no training, no pass fail exams or anything right there. And it shows. And it's important to the example I was talking about in this on this range that we sit at the feet of those who have done it, the experts, those that can watch you, look at your form, look at how you engage people. They know if you're anxious, they know if your breathing is off, all the stuff that comes into account when you're trying to perfect your form. And again, sometimes we don't want to do it, and we think that just because we read a few books or
Yeah.
we can, you know, speak well, that we're there, and it takes more than that. So yeah.
When I was getting licensed as a minister, we had to do what's called a preaching lab. And so preaching lab is exactly that.
Teaching
You
lab.
go in lab, right? Yeah. And that what it was is that all of the people who were looking to get licensed and ordained as ministers, you had to deliver a sermon, not on Sunday morning, but in front of all your peers and in front of the pastoral staff at the church. And so what you would do is that you would have to prepare your sermon. Some of us, you know, took weeks to prepare. And some people took less time, but you weren't able to get your license. You weren't able to get ordained until after you had delivered a sermon in front of in front of other preachers. And so what that taught me particularly is that you can't fake preparation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because the other people who have been preaching for years could tell if you're just faking the funk or you really knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Were you up here just winging it, or did you actually have it inside of you? And so, as we talk about this prioritization here, what it is that you can't skip steps. And so, a lot of times people want to skip steps to success. And what happens is that if you skip a step in life, you're going to have to go right back to it because the
Yeah.
foundation is uneasy. You can't skip steps in life. You're going to
Yeah.
have to face the hard thing, the thing that keeps popping up over and over and over again in your relationships or in your business, because it's going to show up. Because
Yeah.
wherever you are is where you are. It's going to come up.
Yeah. I like that you said it's going to show up in two ways that I'm just came off right top of my mind when you said that it's going to show up. Is you're going to lack discipline and you're going to lack consistency. Right? You're not going to be disciplined in your approach. You're going to be all over the place. And the consistency, like doing constantly on time what you need to be doing, consistently doing. And another one too is a lack of empathy. I think you learn that from people who've done it before you, who you sit at their feet
Hmm.
and learn those kind of things. Because even though I'm doing it, what I'm doing affects other people. And if I'm out here just
Right.
doing what I want to do, that old saying, you don't want to leave behind dead bodies, right? So what am I doing and how does it affect other people too? So I think I said two, but it's three. And you may want to add to the list, but empathy, discipline, and consistency is those things that shows when you put in the work.
Yeah, it does. I can't think of anything else to add, and all of that tied together just shows passion. Because when you have empathy and consistency, you can only do that for something that you're passionate about. It
Yeah.
reminds me of some relationship advice I usually give for premarital couples. And I said, only friends can keep vows. Only friends can keep vows. And so when people, before they get married, I often ask, are you friends? Because only friends can keep vows. And if you just love someone or you lust after someone, you'll just say the words. But once that feeling and those butterflies go away, then it's going to fall apart. You have to have some passion in this. You got to have some connection in this, because only friends can keep vows. And the only way you can remain consistent is that if you do have an emotional connection to it. And so you have to not only think about the goal, but why is the goal important? So, for instance, when my daughters were young, and they used to, like everybody else, used to hate doing homework. I mean, who likes to do homework? But I always remind them the goal is not the homework. The goal is to pass the class. And this is just one of the steps that you're taking to pass the class. So we
Yeah.
can't skip homework to get to the big goal. To get to the big goal requires these little steps. It's going to require you doing a spelling test, it's going to require you writing the essay, it's going to require you doing homework
Yeah.
for the big goal that's down the road. But the
Yeah.
50 feet goal today is just doing these math problems and turning it in tomorrow.
Yeah. That's dope. Hey, let's go to a quick commercial break and come back and we'll continue the discussion.
Sure.
Real men talk. If I had a group of brothers that I could confide in, a group of brothers that encourage me to be the best man possible, that hold me accountable for actions, but brothers that won't beat me down when I fall short. If I had brothers like that in my life, I'd open up more about my challenges. I wouldn't be afraid of being vulnerable and transparent. I'd be more deliberate in my actions and not scared of failure. I wouldn't act like everything is okay when I'm hurting inside. Sometimes it seems like there's an all-out assault from the world on black men, and hurtful words from my lady cut deep. I can't show my pain, 'cause if she knew that she hurt me, she would do it over and over again, hoping that each time cut deeper than the last. I do understand that women have challenges too. That's why I work so hard to be the strength she needs. But I need a band of brothers who understand that sometimes I simply want them to listen. Sometimes I need advice, but other times I need a shoulder to lean on. I need a band of brothers that create a safe space that gives us all a chance to talk about our fears. Because it's therapeutic when real men talk. Real men talk. Real men talk.
Man,
Yeah.
that was nice.
Yeah. And that was one of our focuses. We were talking about our priorities is doing more with Real Men Talk. It's not just here on the screen. We're talking about getting out in the community, putting events together so that we can be face to face too. So I've been working on some partnerships with some other community leaders. So be on the lookout for more to come on Real Men Talk.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
To piggyback on Real Men Talk, if we're looking to prioritize what we're talking about tonight, as you were saying earlier, we do need a tribe around us. We do need people that will hold us accountable. And so, one of the action items for people who are looking to make this your account and looking to prioritize is find those trusted individuals, like Gerard said earlier, that you give permission to call you out, you give permission to check in on you, and that whatever question they ask, you have to answer honestly.
Yeah.
That is probably one of the most important things out there. We're talking about Real Men Talk. When I coach men, you'll be surprised how many men I coach that don't have more than one friend. Literally, one brother. If that one brother is out of town or sick, they don't have nobody else to call. And so, and it's unfortunate there's some men who don't even have that one. They just have their coworkers who they aren't very close with. And so men usually have troubles with opening up. And so we need to find people around us that will hold us accountable, because accountability is a key to success. It
Yeah.
really is.
Like
Yeah.
they say, find that tribe.
Yeah, you got to. Second actionable item for people is write down your top three concerns. You look over your life right now. What are your top three concerns? Write them down on a piece of paper. And it sounds antiquated, but it is very, very possible. I mean, powerful. It's something about writing down with your hand and it connecting with your brain that makes it sink in just deeper to you. It resonates with you. When you write it down, read it out loud to yourself every day. That'll be a
Yeah.
constant reminder of your focuses.
Hey, I have a
Circle.
question for you on that right there. When you're doing your coaching sessions, counseling,
Mhm,
and you
mhm.
get with guys, like what are some of the more common three that you would say, like, hey, you need to work on this?
Yeah.
I got these that you're doing this, but you really need some more focus in this area. What are some of those areas that you give that direction on?
Yeah, the top three things that you see in most men is number one is loneliness. There are so many lonely men out there.